Vandersloot gives it up. Parker to tie. You bet. Quigley. Dolson for the lead. Chicago in front. Vandersloot gets the screen from Dolson. 8 to shoot. Vandersloot stops, fades, and hits! It's a 2-possession Chicago lead! Griner's 3. Rebound Parker. She's left alone. Mission accomplished. That's it! For the first time in franchise history, the Chicago Sky are WNBA champions!
New York, stand up!
The WNBA is so important.
Okay, Tom. God bless. Good night.
This is nothing but that sports talk.
Chicago Sky, your 2021 WNBA champions. As I welcome you to this episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk, you can tell from watching the game, the sky was nearly falling after the Phoenix Mercury went up by as many as 14. Thanks to Allie Quigley and Candace Parker and Courtney Vandersloot. What are your thoughts on the game?
Man, it was a great game. Aside from those 3 you just named, Stephanie Dolson came in and really helped out a lot once Stevenson fouled out. And, it just shows how deep that team really is. As far as chemistry-wise, it doesn't even matter with the talent. Because if you can play together and you all have the same common goal, then, the results are evident, and that's a championship.
Exactly. The whole purpose of Candace Parker coming to Chicago was to bring home a title. It didn't matter what the record was going in.
Yeah.
They got it done. They managed to get through the Dallas Wings, the Minnesota Lynx, survive a 4-game series against the Connecticut Sun upset, and then defeat the Phoenix Mercury. This is insane. And you can't ignore the fast break offense that produced by Kalia Copper. She was killing it, scoring it on the fast break.
Yeah, when you run the floor like that, it is great to have a point guard that sees you as soon as you take off. And Vandersloot, those passes, man. They were a thing of beauty for me to watch as a fan, a broadcaster, and a basketball player because, she was just seeing it. She really was just seeing everything. And, her team are obviously ready always for those passes. And Stevenson, I'll say, she's always ready for those passes. No looks all the time, man. And she's always catching them and finishing at the rim.
That's how it's done. For somebody that had a basketball career, you know what it takes to actually be a champion in any basketball league that you play in. Candace Parker knew what it's like to win a championship in 2016, and now she brings that championship experience to the Windy City of Chicago, her hometown.
Yeah.
Just like Allie Quigley, they grew up playing basketball together at one point, or at the very least, they played together at a younger age. And they carried on that legacy up until this season. Candace Parker has the potential to be not the greatest Chicago Sky of all time, but one of the greatest players in the WNBA. Too bad Dan Taurasi's the coach.
Yeah, I just feel like Candace Parker doesn't get a lot of credit. She's been a winner her whole life. There's players that have been winning since college, since high school, state championships, all that stuff. Like Maya Moore that, people still respect on a very high level. But Candace Parker, she's always been one of those, despite what she's done, like she's still getting snubbed. I remember getting snubbed. She got snubbed from the Olympic team this year. She was snubbed from the Olympic team a couple years ago. I just don't understand in what world do we live in that Candace Parker is not good enough to represent our country on the basketball court anytime. She's literally one of the best players in our league, and she's not on some of our national teams. That's just crazy to me.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say she didn't make it to the USA women's basketball team, but you know what? At the very least, she got to play in the All-Star game, and she managed to get a championship. Oh yeah, let's not forget all the covers she was on for NBA 2K21 and Slam Magazine and Chicago Sky. And just like what James Wade described it was big for her. This is a big year for Candace Parker. Like, and to do it on the 25th anniversary season, the Chicago Sky team has only been around since 2005 or 2006 or whatever. We're in 2021, and you get a championship in 2 tries during that time span. Not to mention, it gave redemption for the loss in 2014, the sweep, where Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner and DeWanna Bonner and Penny Taylor dominated them in a sweep. Like, what more can you ask for? Straight redemption.
Yeah, the Sky has a wonderful story. All their players have been through so much in this league or in their careers. And for all of them to just end up in Chicago at this time, it just makes the timing so perfect. I don't know what happened in LA for Candace Parker to leave them after 12 years, but I'm glad because she has a whole new joy on her face. And she doesn't even really have to work as hard on this Chicago team, it seems like. I mean, when it comes down to, matching up her past team with this Chicago Sky team, I'm taking the Chicago Sky team, even though that Sparks team had Chelsea Gray and, Elena Beard and, the NECA, all of those girls that she had on her team during that championship run back in 2016, I'm still taking the Chicago Sky team because they just got something that other teams that I've seen Candace Parker play with, they don't have.
Yeah, including the year where she did lose to the Wizards the year after winning the championship. That just goes to show there's a lot of rivalries that are being developed in the WNBA. You cannot sleep on that. This is the same Candace Parker that came into the league, won Rookie of the Year, did dunk 2 games in a row, and then her career just grew ever since. You should so happy somewhere watching this take place.
Yeah, no, seriously, like she said, time will tell your story. And Candace Parker has been doing this thing for a long time. And she got a lot of stories that can, go into it. But over time, if you just go down her timeline, she's always been winning. Even when people didn't give her the credit or the awards or the respect that she deserved, she still kept her head down and did what she was supposed to do. She didn't talk bad about anybody in the media. She never did any of that. She just remained true to herself. She stayed a good person and she remained humble, and now she's another WNBA champion.
Exactly. And you know what? When I spoke to Breanna Stewart in the W25 media availability, she said, enjoy the moment because you never know when you're going to be back. And we never know when we're going to see Candace Parker back in Chicago or win another title. So all we can do is just enjoy this moment. Even Kalia Comper had a little enjoyment when people, including us, wanted to talk to her. She was like, no, I want to celebrate with my team. Just let me celebrate my team and I'll come back to answer your questions later, which she did. But what are your impressions about the way Kalia Comper acted in the press conference?
This is our first championship. Last year she was a rookie and she got traded for Deladine and everything, So, she's been through a lot in her own career, and to finally be on a team that believes in you and, took a chance on you and, everything like that. I would want to go, celebrate that moment, because that moment after all the cameras and everything are gone, the only people that you do still have to celebrate with is your team, to still relive that moment over and over. So I completely understand where she was coming from, and I'm glad she did come back to still talk to us, because she didn't have to do that either. But the rest of all, and she came back with the three more of that that amazing Sky lineup. So yeah, or 4 more actually. And
after that, all the players she came back with talked about how amazing it was to finally win a championship. And Candace Parker talk about win a second. And for the married couple of Courtney Vandersloot and Allie Quigley, who took over when they were down by 14 with nailing 3 quarters back to back. They all talked about how impressive it was to actually get that championship. And what's really touching the most, Candace Parker honoring Kobe Bryant and Gigi. What went through your mind seeing that?
It's just genuine, like Candace Parker, and Gigi, and and Kobe, they all had a relationship. And Kobe and Gigi had a relationship with a lot of people in this league, and to see that they will never be forgotten and they will always be remembered. And people still play in love for them. That just speaks volume to the respect and everything that Kobe had for them and they had for Kobe and Gigi.
Exactly. And you can tell Candace Parker meant a lot to Kobe Bryant. Well, they meant a lot to each other. I mean, Kobe mentored a lot of young players, not just in men's basketball, but in the W as well. She mentored her. She even mentored Sabrina Ionescu, who had her first playoff appearance, by the way. We'll touch upon that later. But yeah, that's just one of the most interesting things that happens in basketball. You build a culture and a family with each other. That's how it is. But you want to know what's more disappointing? The Mercury not talking to Mia after showing sportsmanship on the court after the game. Like, what went through your mind seeing the way that the Phoenix Mercury reacted? Were they right or were they wrong?
I thought they were wrong because you still have a job to do even after you lose a game. Granted, I know they're very emotional players and everything, and they probably would have snapped on the media if they would have showed up. But hey, I mean, I'd rather take a couple lashings from you than have no take from you. And then we start reading all these other articles about what happened in the locker room after the game, So, I mean, don't let people create your own story. Just come tell your own story. And I think that's exactly what ended up happening last night. So instead of the media, Phoenix Mercury speaking to the media, now the media just made up anything they wanted about what happened after the game, and now they have to cover their own asses today in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, you might get no reaction like how when I spoke to Diane Taurasi about the team totaling 50 points and lost in game 3, she's like, 50?
Yeah.
Like, we'll be better than 50, and yeah, you were better than 50, but you couldn't get the job done.
Yeah. They just didn't have it. It wasn't their year. They played a great game though. They really did. They came out and executed the game plan perfectly. Get the ball to Brittany Griner, and if she don't have a shot, then she's reluctant. She's not reluctant to pass the ball out, and that's what a lot of post players these days don't do. They'll just force some stuff up. But BG would definitely pass it to her teammates, and they just weren't hitting shots anymore. And the Sky started getting those stops and getting those rebounds, and like you said, Quigley got on fire, man. I said it before the game had started or during the game, that Quigley was going to have to break the WNBA record for most threes in a game. I'm pretty sure she got pretty close. Absolutely.
And you know what? Kalia Copper mentioned that she knew he was going to win a championship when she talked about Allie Quigley working on her jump shot on her own when everybody else was watching film. That's the determination to win a championship right there. And I know you had that determination during your basketball career. So, yeah. Speaking of your basketball career, what made you decide to have a basketball career from the day you started dribbling the ball?
It's crazy because I used to play soccer, and that field was just way too big. Because if you not on a team that passes the ball, so you just doing all that running for nothing. And I say, you know what? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So I picked up a basketball, and the rest is history. Rest in peace to my Aunt Betty. She bought me my first basketball, and I've been dribbling it ever since. Thank you. Yeah. So she actually just passed like last week. So the next day after her passing, I had to call the Aces game. I think it was like game 4 of the series with the Mercury, and I didn't know how I was gonna feel, how I was gonna react, but this league and that series and this game itself, it brought a joy in me, and I'm just thankful to be in this position.
Yeah, and you managed to cover a lot of interesting WNBA games, and I saw you on the Zoom calls. I'm like, yeah, this girl looks like she knows what she's doing. And well, let's talk a little bit about why you decided to cover the WNBA.
Yeah, I was at Aces game, and when they were playing against the Liberty, and one of my teammates, Shakita Andrews, I didn't know who she was. I just thought she was just somebody on my team. But apparently, she's this big time business owner, and, she does all this other stuff. And she was just watching my interaction with the fans and the players at the game. And she asked me, hey, do you want to do sports broadcasting? Like, you can interview all the players and all the sports in Las Vegas and da-da-da-da. And I was like, what? So I was just like, yeah, like who would turn down the opportunity to talk to their favorite athletes for a living, So I'm just blessed to be in this position. I mean, I guess I was just in the right place at the right time, but I didn't even know I was auditioning for a job. I was just being myself, and that's what you see on these Zoom calls, me just being myself, and that's why I'm actually doing so well in this.
Wow, that's a powerful story. And I interviewed athletes that played volleyball when I started doing journalism. Right now, I'm interviewing athletes in the WNBA during the Zoom calls for 2 years. Because I've been doing this since 2020, WNBA Wobble. Right now, we're in 2021, and I'm 2 seasons into doing this. And hopefully, I can continue doing this going forward, because these interviews is going to help in the long run for somebody that's coming off getting a master's degree from Ford University. You're talking about me, by the way. But
yeah,
your story, like, where did you start going to college and why you played ball there?
Fresh out of high school, I went to Henderson State University in Arkansas. And like you may have heard, since you cover women's basketball, we don't really get treated that well once we go off to school. Some of these coaches take advantage of the fact that they own us. And so I transferred a lot, and injuries also played me. I ended up tearing my ACL both sophomore year of high school and sophomore year of college. So that really kind of messed up my D1 offers as well. But I never let my injuries hold me back. I kept faith, and I just knew that God was just preparing me for something else and saving my body. And here I am in this situation right now where I moved to Vegas to chase my career, and I mean, I'm as close to it as I can be right now.
Okay, that's a very interesting story right there. I mean, you never let the injury stop you from playing the sport that you love. And now you get to interview WNBA players, you interview them throughout the season. This is just incredible.
Yeah.
I want to touch up on your publication, Anointed Radio. How did that come about?
Yeah, like I said, they saw me at the game and, gave me a job offer. I met Pastor Jay. He's the creator of Anointed Radio, and he just liked what I had to say too, and he was just like, all right, we'll give it a shot, see how it goes. And my first 3 interviews, I killed it, and he was just like, this is for you. You're in it. You're in. And next thing you know, I'm covering the WNBA All-Star game. And, the rest is just history. Now, I just did my first WNBA Finals yesterday. Like, I couldn't have a better story than the one that I have. I'm just blessed, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity.
I felt the same way, because I tried to cover this in New York Liberty games in 2019, but I just couldn't get a credential in. And then next year, when the world was silent and everything was done virtual, I got on the email distribution list of New York Liberty, and the rest is history. I'm interviewing players from Liberty. I'm interviewing players from the Aces. I'm interviewing players from the Connecticut Sun when they were in the semifinals playing against the Aces in the bubble. So, yeah, you can tell the rest was history. And then this year, I've done a lot of virtual interviews for the NBA 2K League.
That's awesome.
Men's side, League of USA Basketball, including my guy Kevin Durant, who's currently playing for the Brooklyn Nets. And
wow.
A couple players from the championship rosters for the Sun and the Milwaukee Bucks.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
Interviewing those pro athletes is just incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. It's a dream come true, honestly. Like, you grow up watching these athletes and, wanting to be just like them, and now you're talking to them and having regular conversations with them.
I've been watching Kevin Durant since he came into the NBA in 2007, and I interviewed him as a Brooklyn Net through the Zoom calls during the run to the Olympics. Which, let's be honest, they should have went undefeated if it wasn't for that loss. Against Evan Fournier. Let's be honest. But outside that, they did get the job done.
Yeah. Yeah, people was talking that they weren't gonna win the gold, and it was just like, what? Do y'all not realize we got the best athletes in the world, man?
You lose a couple exhibition games, and you lost an Evan Fournier-led team in France, and you don't think they could win. Real nice. Hey, look what happened. They proved you wrong.
Yeah.
Now the women's winning, they didn't think the women was going to win. I mean, they lost at the All-Star game, lost the exhibition game, but come on, it's the women's side. They blew out literally every team, barely having any close games during the runs to the Tokyo Olympics. And yeah, Candace Parker, who didn't get selected to the national team, but Stephanie Dolson at the very least won gold medal for the 3-on-3 team.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think that's awesome that we have 3-on-3 as well, becoming such a different sport for us to, branch off into, because I mean, it just still shows our skill set and, our ability to still dominate anything on the court.
Exactly. And it's just so amazing. And well, let's touch upon some of the most underwhelming performances that you've seen from any teams in this year's playoffs.
It's definitely the Suns, the number 1 seed. You just were killing all season, and then once you get into the playoffs, then you kind of fall apart. You get against a team that has a lot to fight for. I think it was the double bye that may have gotten them and the Aces. Sometimes too much rest is a bad recipe. You need to kind of be out there still getting that competitive fire igniting you and everything, and that's what the Sky and the Mercury both were fueling off of from the Olympic break all the way up into the finals. Even the Sky had struggles at the end of the regular season, and people were like, oh, they're not gonna make it past New York, or they're not gonna make it past this team. Like, it was a lot of talk about the Sky not even making it to the finals. And I mean, I called it. I got the receipts. I said they was going to the finals. So hey, and the fact that they made it was amazing.
Exactly. And well, to me, the most underwhelming performance will be the Aces and the New York Liberty. The reason why I said the Aces, I mean, they gave it their all, but let's be honest, Asia Wilson should have taken a much better shot at going to the rim and getting blocked by Brittany Griner. The lady can block shots.
Yeah.
In the last episode with my guy Ryan Walker and Johnny, who's like an announcer for street ball, you should definitely come down to New York and play some street ball games next year.
Yeah.
We'll get more to that conversation in another episode or when you have time. But that performance, man, that close game was just so nerve-wracking, but you lose in the final seconds and, oh yeah, let's not forget about the New York Liberty. You had Beniza Lady hit one of the craziest shots you can ever make in your WNBA career, only for Sammy Winkle to mess it up with that foul.
Yeah. And it's funny because Petty keeps getting put in these positions where she's getting fouled at the 3-point line or something, and it's just like, man. Like, but hey, it takes a lot to knock down those free throws when it's zeros on the clock for sure. And she came clutch.
And you know what? If Sammy Winkle did not make that foul, Phoenix probably wouldn't be in the finals right now. I mean, they have Diana Taurasi. The Liberty was giving it their all. Much better than I thought compared to the massacre blowouts that they've had in the Barclays Center against the Mercury back in August.
Yeah.
The Liberty played bad enough to not make it to the playoffs, but even with that final win of the season, they only got in because the Mystics couldn't defeat the Lynx and the Sparks couldn't defeat the Dallas Wings. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And the Dallas Wings was another team that I was looking at to maybe do what the Chicago Sky did, but I don't know. I think they're still just a little young, still just like the Sparks who didn't make it to the playoffs. They just got a lot of growth and development to do. And as far as the Liberty, that team shows promise. I think they'll probably be in the playoffs for sure next year.
Yeah, I'm confident they're going to be back. And I can't wait to see how things go on from here as I conclude this episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk. Thank you for stopping by Trenia Barbee. And I love the work you do for Anointed Radio.
Thank you.
Keep on annoying it on the radio. And to all the ballers out there, get your head in the game.